But in 2010, I was working in medical device industry as a product development engineer. The idea came about my son, my two older boys, had this Lego Star Wars ship. It was a Venator Star Wars ship. It was $150. And we bought each of one for Christmas. And then we opened it up. I started helping them build the ship. And they took the figures and ran upstairs. And then, 8 hours later, they come downstairs after I built the ship. And they said, hey, we want to buy another ship to get more figures. I'm like, okay, there's an opportunity here. So I started looking into Lego's minifigures and seeing what they've done, seeing what the opportunity was there. And then in the spring, I went to a Red Sox game with my middle son and bought him Dove bars. I bought him popcorn, candy, everything that came by. And he's like, Dad, you promised me a toy or a gift. So we go down to the store, and sure enough, there are no toys for him to buy. And he's into Legos. So I'm like, well, perfect opportunity, Legos and something in sports. So that's where I started coming up with the idea is how would you get a minifigure to pose for baseball? Because they couldn't hold a bat, they couldn't bend their legs, they couldn't stand in a position. They have to hold a ball. You had to actually design something for a sport. And so that's what I started doing. I started designing all the figures for each of the sports. I had an engineer that had worked for me as an intern. He was a student. And I said, hey, I need you to work for me this summer and make the parts for me. So he started designing, I had the parts designed, so he started having the molds made. That was through the fall. We made the parts, actually picked two teams. We did a first test for the Rangers, Texas Rangers and St. Louis Cardinals, and we put that into the World Series for the first time. And the product sold really well. We launched a couple more teams that fall. So that was October when we first sold our first product. Did well, made more teams in November, and in November said, wow, this is going to take off. At that time, we sold 20,000 units in that first quarter, and so I quit my job at the end of 2011. So originally our target was, we figured it would be kids. As we started selling, about 50% of our customers were collectors. People, adults, dads that were buying the product. Most of our business has been through retail partners, selling product into stadium. Our business is not a toy company, it's a fan engagement business. So, as a toy, there's enough plastic in here that, I would sell this thing for like $3, right, in a bubblegum machine. But because I'm actually making Byron Maxwell as a Super Bowl champion, that's what the value is. I'm delivering the fan of Byron Maxwell or the Seattle Seahawks fan their product real time. So as a result of that, we look at our business a little bit, differently than kind of a toy company itself.